got a call from a mate who said he was heading to 1770 to fish and film. I quietly suggested I tag along with my boat in tow. 5 hours drive north of Noosa, the town of 1770 is the gateway to the bunker group on the southern tip of the Great Barrier Reef. After a couple of days fishing in Noosa, I put a kit together, packed the car and hit the road. 5 hours later, I arrived at my destination. It's our home for the next few days here in 1770. Nice tropical surrounding at the Captain Cook Holiday Village here. We've got a bungalow here with the car and the boat conveniently parked out the front so I can hitch up early in the morning and be on the water by first light. So I'm going to get organised with my rigs now and get ready for tomorrow morning. The Captain Cook Holiday Village is well set up for anglers, and once unpacked and the boat prepped, I put the drone up to get a good look at the surrounding area of 1770. I always get fishing anxiety before a new session, and I had a terrible sleep. I got the boat set up in the dark and headed for the ramp before first light. So it's about 4:30 in the morning here at the 1770 boat ramp. I've just got the boat in, I'm on the sand, and I'm just waiting for my buddy Mr. Webster to get his boat in. And then we'll start heading out offshore. Weather looks good, it's pretty flat, not a breath of wind, and yeah, hopefully we should be on the water soon. My target destination was Bolt Reef, approximately 50 kilometres from the mainland, heading northeast.
There's a little bit more wind than expected. It was supposed to be a glass out according to the weather guy. We've got a 5 to 10 knot puff, so we're going to get wet. I reckon we're halfway out to the reef. The conditions aren't as bad as what I thought. So, you know, we're making good time. We should be out the reef by about 6:30.
My plan is to head to the northeast corner of Bolt Reef and fish in 20 to 25 metres for reef fish. Straight away I see shows on my sounder and drop down a jig. Straight away I hook up to retrieve what I thought was a mac tuna and in fact was a small Spanish mackerel. I hook up again on the second drop and this time it feels like a tuna, but it turns out to be a small dogtooth tuna, which was totally unexpected. So the idea is here I'm fishing for coral trout, so I want to be fishing pretty heavy. I want to have my drag up pretty tight. I'm just putting a floating pilchard out straight down the bottom with a bit of a traction device, and let's see if they're awake. Coral trout are prolific around the reef edges of 1770, especially in 20 to 25 metres of water. I'm only in 20 metres of water, so this could happen really fast. Yep, straight on, there we go. It's a good fish. Oh, he's reefed me, I reckon. Yep, I'm done in the reef. Oh, damn it. There goes the first one. Didn't take long. I'm seeing a lot of pelagics come through the screen, so I'm going to throw a floating pilchard out the back with some wire and just see what comes along and picks it up. I reckon there's some good Spanish mackerel around here. So we'll chuck one of these out the back and see how long it takes before it gets eaten. Righto, let's try that again. It does not take long here. As soon as you get to the bottom, it's pretty much on and over in a couple of seconds. If you don't get that first whine, then you pretty much don't get the fish. I wasn't off to a good start. The trout were biting, but I couldn't get them off the bottom. When I did pull them out, the sharks were waiting for them. So I got sharked and bricked in that first spot. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a move and try and find another little peak and fish a slightly different spot and try and get a couple of fish before the sharks show up. Pretty simple reef rig I'm using here. A running ball sinker straight down to a size 8 hook. with 80-pound leader, and my drag is tight, so I can get those fish off the bottom straight away. Okay, let's hope I get this one. Come on, load up. Come on. I think I got done then. Yeah, I've got something pesty on here. It's not what I'm after. Oh, you're kidding, it's a trout. Man, that was the weirdest bite. He just stopped. He just kind of ate it and then did nothing. I'm gonna let this guy go. He's a bit too small. I prefer to eat the bigger models. So we'll let this guy go back in the water. See you, buddy.
I found a good patch of trout, but most were under the size that I like to keep them. Although legal, I prefer trout around 45 to 60 centimetres. Some other species started coming around, such as red bass and hussa.
Now these guys make for fantastic bait, so we'll be keeping him. Yep, come on. I just released that bail arm and he took it in the last metre of water and started running with it. Oh, that's a nice trout. Beauty, we'll take that any day of the week. Oh, they are so beautiful. Never get tired of catching these fish. The colours, the hit, so much power. And we want to find some bigger ones, so I'm going to have to have a bit of a look around, I reckon. Oh, yep. Go on. There goes the floater. Yes. Good timing. Just got the other line in. Oh, what do we got here? It's a good fish. Oh, it feels a bit tuna-ish. Got a head shake going on there. Okay, I'm gonna get this rod out the way. Oh, it's all about beating the sharks here at the moment. Let's see what we've got here. It's either gonna be a tuna or some kind of mackerel species, or a reefie that's come off the bottom, because that bait would have been pretty close to the bottom. He's not running real hard now. Oh, I reckon it's a reefie that's come up off the bottom. Oh, it is. It's a nice red throat. Beauty. I love these fish. They look so amazing in the water. All right, let's get this bad boy in. Oh, yes. What a cracker. You beauty. Oh, mate, that's a beautiful fish. Look at the colours on that. One of the best reefies here in 1770, the coral trout and the red throat emperor. The colours are just absolutely gorgeous. The reds are just amazing. All the baits are working at the moment, the floaters and the half pillies drop straight down. So we'll just keep getting them out there and see what else we catch. Such a simple way to fish, I love it. You can bait up really quick. If you lose a rig, it's not a big deal. It's one hook and one sinker. And usually you get your leader back. So it's quick to re-rig and get back down and get amongst the fish again. Ah, this place is amazing. Welcome to the jungle.
The trout just kept coming, but the bigger models remained elusive.
Sometimes if you catch too many trout in the same area, they can kind of switch off, or the big ones can get a bit wary. So just by moving a few meters, can wake up a different patch of fish. Yep, that's a good fish. Come on. Oh, he did me. Damn it. He just got the better of my leader that time. It's pretty scuffed up. Okay, let's get another one down.
I was beginning to think 80-pound leader just wasn't enough to land the big guys.
Oh, the floater just went off. I just saw a couple of big fish come through the sounder that looked like pelagics, and as normally happens, it doesn't take long. If you've got a bait down in the right depth of where those fish come through, normally you will get the hook up. And I had a pilchard sitting right down in the right depth of the water column, around 15 meters, and it was just a matter of time before a fish came past and ate it. What have we got here? I'm thinking it's a pelagic species, but you never know. It could be a reefie. It could be a nice reefie that's come off the bottom. It is. I thought it was going to be a Spanish, but it's another red throat. And another cracker one too. Wow. They are impressive fish. And they go hard. Look at that. Oh, such a beautiful fish. A little bit bigger size than the other one. Went just as hard. I mean, you would have thought that was a Spanish mackerel or some kind of pelagic the way it ran then, but he's just coming off the bottom and having a chew on those pilchards that I'm sinking down. What a cracker. Another beautiful fish.
The floating pilchard catches a surprising amount of species. When the current is minimal, it's a perfect bait to attract reefies up off the bottom.
Come on. Oh, I got him off the bottom, yes. Oh, yes, come on. Just had a little break there to have a bite to eat. And that's another nice trout. I was just having a break for breakfast and I thought I'll put another bait down. And sure enough, another trout. It kind of went quiet for a little bit there, but it doesn't take long if you just move a few meters and then they come back on again. Another nice fish. But I'm going to tempt fate here a little bit. I'm going to put one of these vibe jigs down, or vibe lures, and crank it back up. Much lighter line. I've got 50-pound leader still and 30-pound braid. So we'll just see what kind of predator jumps on this when it gets close to the bottom. These lures tend to get smashed pretty quick, so I expect to lose a few. Let's just say I'm not pulling the new ones out of the packets yet until I clean out the old ones. Yep. Oh, that's a good fish. Come on, off the bottom. Yes. Oh, that was an awesome strike. Unbelievable. Oh, these reefies are unreal. Oh, that's a good fish. I'm amazed I did not get reef then. Oh, that's a nice fish. I think we've got a bit bigger trout here. Yeah, he's come up to the surface. Oh, yes. That's a nicer model. As you can see, he's taken that vibe, sinking down through the water column, and absolutely beautiful trout. I'm just going to handle this guy delicately because he's just hooked there. Look at that for a beautiful trout. A bit browner in colour this one, but a bit larger. Beautiful blue spots, and the power of those vibes. I thought this guy was going to drive me into the reef then, and he just picked that up with enough space between him and the bottom for me to get away with it. Well, I think we'll have another shot with that vibe. Did a good job that time. Let's see how long it lasts on this drop. Yep, come on. Up. Oh, he wants to go home. Come on. This is where your knots come in handy. Close the bail, I'm on the other one. Oh. Oh, I lost him, damn it. I'm only fishing pretty light here. I got my leader back, but I lost it at the lure. Must have had it pretty deep in the mouth. Oh, that was a good fish too. Well, there goes the first vibe. I'm surprised it lasted that long, to be honest. I was just thinking it's been a while since the floater went off and he's got me into the reef. Damn it. Alright, give him some slack line for a bit and see if he comes out. Yep, off he goes. No, he swam straight back in. Let's try again. He's stuck in there. Oh, come on, swim out. If I just take the motor off spot lock, drift back, he might just come out. Yep, we got him. Come on. Yes, that did the trick. Oh, sometimes that's all you got to do. Instead of losing the fish, just drop back a little bit and he'll come out of his hole and you can win the battle. I reckon this is another red throat. There's a shark on his back. So I'll get this guy in fast. There we go. Oh, beat the reef, beat the sharks. You got to love a victory. Fantastic. He had me fair and square, that fish, and sometimes you just have to think through the situation, and it would have been easy to get busted off. It's a shark swimming down there, but perseverance, and that's how you get the fish. Putting the vibe back out again. been losing a few baits or getting smaller fish, Moses perch and husser. And we're just getting into the middle of the day. Things are quieting down a little bit. So I might go for a trial soon along this outside edge and see if I can muster up a mackerel or some kind of pelagic. They love picking these vibes up on the way down. Just got to watch that line run off. Yep, there's a fish. He's got it on the bottom. Oh, he's a good one. Man, they just pick it up and run with it along the reef. I'm pretty lucky not to get caught in the reef, to be honest. What do we got here? There's another good trout. Now, the trout seem to love these. Yep, they do. He's a good one too. Oh yes, the trout never gets sick of taking these lures. Just a change of colour. I put the pink colour one on and he's just taken that beautifully on the drop, just on the top of the reef, and you ran along the reef a little bit, obviously looking for a hole or an escape route of some sort, but I just had enough pressure on him to keep him off the bottom, and we got him in the boat. I'm just going to cast a little Jackson lure and let it get close to bottom and slowly roll it back along the reef. I'm going to cast it about 20 metres that way and let it sink down. I'm in 20 metres of depth, and I just want to slowly swim it above the reef and see if I can attract a fish. Yep, oh yes, yes, he's got it, come on. I just got done on the slow retrieve. Oh, might be a nice trout. He's come up for it, I reckon. Oh, that's a beauty, nice. Look at the colour in this trout. Absolutely beautiful colour. Oh, he's just got onto that lure. Oh, just on the slow retrieve back, and he's just come off the bottom and smacked it hard, which gave me plenty of room because he wasn't in the reef. Well, it's been a good morning on the reefies with the coral trout and the red throats and the husser, and now I'm going to trial a couple of diving lures along the edge of the reef and see if we can find some pelagics. What we'll do is we'll get the deep diver out this side. We'll get the shallow diver on this side.
I'd been watching an active patch of birds for some time, and coming into a tide change, I thought there might be a pelagic bite period on the turns. I trolled the edges and circled the birds for almost an hour without a hit. I was a little surprised. To not even hook a mac tuna or bonito was unusual.
Yep. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's a big one. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, I haven't got him yet. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no. Fucking cunt. That was a good fish. Fucking sharked. Fucking piece of shit.
To say I was frustrated would be an understatement. The sharks were becoming relentless. I was losing good fish, losing gear, and certainly losing my patience.
Yep. Come on. I'm gonna win this one. I just got busted off and then the floater went off. Oh, that was a big fish, that last one, probably a big trout. Just got sharked. There's a shark on this one as well. Oh, I'm gonna get done in a minute. Oh, it's a red throat. And the sharks are all over him. Oh, that last one was a big trout. Absolute cracker. Red throat emperor, look at the colours, so beautiful. And man, they're loving this floating pilchard today. But the other line was a big trout, a really big one, and I lost it to a shark. Well, you've got to have another go. Yep. Oh, that's a good one, come on. Oh, look. Man, they're so hard to get off the bottom. Bust off on the reef. Well, try again.
It just seemed impossible to get the big boys to the boat.
Floater has gone again. Didn't pull any drag this time. I just saw that rod tip going over while I was putting another lure on. Oh, it's not a bad fish either. What have we got this time? Oh, it's thumping like a tuna, but it's not a tuna. It's a trevally. A tea leaf trevally. Different species. Bludger or tea leaf trevally. A little bit different than the ones we catch out wide in Noosa, but very similar with the grey black spots on the side. And once again, man, everything takes a floater if you give it a chance. Put it down in front of its face and it will eat it. Yep. Oh yeah, good fish. Oh, on the vibe. Come on, come on. Oh, man, you don't stand a chance. Not a chance. If you're not using 50-pound braid and 60-pound leader, you don't stand a chance. Another bust off. Well, I reckon that is pretty much session 1 finished. Excellent session, heaps of reef fish, good variety. Didn't lose too much gear to sharks. Got to say, I've been pretty lucky today. Got a lot of fish landed on the boat. So I'm going to head home before this northerly picks up too much, and I should be able to get them pretty quick. Well, looking forward to day 2 tomorrow.
On my way home, I couldn't help but think about all the lost opportunities that day. Trying to find that balance between fishing too light and too heavy is always a challenge. Although I landed a lot of fish, the trophy trout seemed elusive.
Day 2 here at 1770 today. The forecast is a little bit different than what it was. It's already blowing close to 10 knots, probably 15 offshore. So what we're going to do today is stick a bit closer, head northeast, and probably fish in about 25 to 30 metres of water instead of heading out to the reef. Tomorrow's forecast looks better, so we should be able to punch out wider again tomorrow and chase some of those bigger reef species. But we'll still get a fish in today for 4 or 5 hours. And then, yeah, we'll see how we go for Thursday.
Not going out to the reef and not being a local mint today was going to be a day of exploration. My goal was to find a few new spots, mix up the fishing styles with bait and lures, and see what I could find. I was gearing up for a wet ride as it was blowing 10 to 15 knots offshore. About 5 miles out, I came across some active birds and took the opportunity to cast a metal lure amongst the bust-ups. A few attempts at casting the lure and I was hooked up. This was a familiar fight, and as soon as I got colour, I knew I had a mac tuna on my hands. Whilst holding him to camera, he spewed a mouthful of bait he'd been chewing on. I decided to have a fish on a nearby wreck, and just as things looked promising, my old friends decided to ruin the party.
Oh, come on, mate, do me a favour. Oh, it's got that grey colour about it, and yes, it is a shark.
I had just started hooking good fish, but I didn't stand a chance of getting a thing to the boat.
Well, that was a shit start. Sharks, done my rig, and now I lost a good jig to the bottom. Man, in 5 minutes. Just come out to a bommy, which was about 5 to 6 miles from that last place we were fishing. And there's a bit of a rise from 30 metres up to 15. So I'm gonna have a bit of a scout around, see if I can find some bigger fish on the bottom before I pull up and put the electric motor in.
I decided to opt for soft plastics and jigs just to see what species might be active in the area. A few hops along the bottom and I got my first hookup. It turned out to be one of the brightest trevallies I'd ever seen. Then I digged a new species that I couldn't identify. It turns out it is a unicorn leather jacket. Definitely something new for me. I switched back to the soft plastic and on the drop hooked up to a solid fish. It was touch and go for a bit before I saw that beautiful trout looking colour. It's such a satisfying feeling to land a good trout on a soft plastic, knowing how easily they can destroy you.
Well, it's the top of the tide and the bite has gone dead. Not that it's been terribly exciting this morning, so I'm going to start heading back in before this northerly picks up and probably go back to that wreck and have another couple of drops of the jig there, and at least I know I'm only 15 minutes from home. Once that wind blows up I can get out of there pretty quickly, so we'll get home and get set up to go to the outer reef again tomorrow for another hot session.
I decided to beat the nor'easter and head back in to reset and rig up for another day on the outer reef. You never quite know what another day on the reef will bring. Heading out in the dark meant arriving at Bolt Reef on sunrise. Such a beautiful time of the day to be on the water.
Well, it's day 3 out here on the reef at 1770. Conditions were a little bit lumpy getting out here, and they still are on the inside of the reef. So I'm going to work this southeastern corner looking for nervous bait on the surface in the hope that I can raise the attention of some sort of pelagic fish with a surface lure. So I'll just scout the edge here, keep an eye on the birds and look for any movements on the surface that give me an indication that there's some activity happening. Nothing on the surface lure at the moment. I'm not seeing much bait around on these pressure edges, so I might go and fish for some reefies for a while and just keep an eye on the surface and keep my stick bait handy. And if I see any bait action on the surface, I'll just cast into it from where I'm fishing below the boat. I've got some good shows on the sounder. Got a floater out the back, gonna put this jig down and see if any trouties want to eat it. Yep, straight on, and big fish. He's got me into the reef already. Man, that took 2 seconds. Far out. Let's see if he swims out. Man, line came off the reel and done in a heartbeat. There goes the first lure. Oh, hang on, nah, busted, gone. Oh, straight out the packet, straight on the leader and gone. All right, let's do that again. The good old humble soft plastic gets results. Whoa. Oh, that was a good mid-water strike. Oh, hear that reel scream. Man, that was a really good attack on the plastic. I can see the fish now. I don't know what that was that came off the bottom, but he was a fair way up. Uh-oh, he's got a shark on him. Oh no. Come on, come on, come on. It's a trout and I want it. I don't want to give it to the shark. Whoa, that's a good trout too. Oh yes. Absolute beast. That's the kind of trout you want to get on a plastic. Now he came probably 5-6 meters off the bottom to get that as I was retrieving it, and that gave me enough time to get him home in the boat. What a cracker. Woo. That was such a strike. I was so lucky that I was off the bottom, otherwise I would not have got that fish. He was determined to get home and I had probably 2 meters on him, so I was really lucky. trout. Oh, man, I'm having such a frustrating morning, eh? Can't believe I lost that fish. Okay, I've just had a really slight move. Hopefully there's no sharks here. I'm going to try a bit of a flasher rig and a 2-hook rig with some strip bait, a bit of husser, and see if that attracts a nice trout and hopefully stays away from the sharks. The bust off rate's been full on today, way more than the last 2 days. Yep. Oh no, shark. I saw him take it. Oh, how devastating. How devastating is this? This is just brutality. Absolute brutality. Man, I just lost 3 of those flasher rigs in 3 drops.
I was really starting to question my methods. How could I avoid losing so many quality fish? I just had to keep moving to try and be one step ahead of the sharks. I wanted to get a good close look at one of these awesome predators, so the next one I hooked on heavier gear I brought to the surface. I have a lot of respect for sharks and would never intentionally harm one. They are an apex predator and need to be kept alive and protected.
And sometimes filming and fishing, so frustrating. Changing rigs, you don't know whether they want a plastic or a bait. You get bitten off, you got to change, you got to retie, you got to make sure the cameras are rolling when you're filming, mate. Today, I'm not enjoying it. I may switch the cameras off soon and just fish because it's giving me the f***ing shits. Are you fucking kidding? No. Oh shit. Uh-oh, double. That's gonna be a mackerel. Oh shit. What do we got on this one? Other one's gone. Oh, what have we got here? This is something different. Wow, that was a good fast run. Come on. Wow. Man, when those double hookups happen, when you least expect it, I'm not sure what was on that first rod. Might have been a reefy, but it could have also been a shark. This doesn't feel like a shark. I'm hoping it's a Spanish or a wahoo. That first run was pretty good, so it felt like a Spanish run. It's up high and it's not behaving like a shark, so we might be in luck here, as long as it doesn't get hit by a shark. Wow, it was an awesome first run. What have we got here? He's hanging out to this side. Okay, I'm gonna get a gaff hook ready. I'm not gonna take any chances with this fish. Should be well hooked, hopefully. He's got some head shakes going on there. Oh yeah, this is wahoo or Spanish for sure. Yes. Come on, hang in there. Let's just hope the bull sharks don't come around. Yep, it's a Spanish. Oh, it's a good one too. That is a beast of a fish. Come on. That is a chunk of a Spanish. Massive fish. Oh, I can barely tail that fish because it's so big. Yes. Oh, that's a cracker. What an absolute beast of a fish. Big Spanish mackerel here at 1770, taking the floating pilchard out the back, and same technique as I use in a lot of places, and it works wherever these wicked beasts are.
Double hookup solo can often go so wrong. In this case, things worked out and I made the right decision to focus on the second rod. Over the next hour, the trout and reefies came constantly on the jigs, baits and plastics.
We've had a slight move, down with the vibe, changed to a lure from a bait, and let's see what sort of result we get. Come on. Fat Betty does the job again. What do we got? Come on. Be a trouty, come on. Yes. That's what we want. Oh, it's a nice coronation trout too. Different trout, and still a beautiful trout. Ah, wow, look at the colors on that. Absolutely beautiful. Purple, red, orange. Man, what a beautiful looking fish. One of the nicest fish in the ocean. And first drop in a new spot, away from the sharks, and finally a good result with a beautiful trout. You've got to love that. Well, we've just gone past the bottom of the tide in the last hour, and things have really shut down. There's loads of fish on the sounder, but there's just nothing chewing at the moment. So just gonna have to wait for this tide to run a little bit, and hopefully it picks up again. But I don't know how much more time we've got before this southerly comes rolling in. So I just got to keep a close eye on it, because we're a good hour and 20 minutes from home. So let's hope we get another bite window and a couple more fish in the tub before we got to go. Can't win. Right rig, 80 pound, done. Just a typical floating pilchard rig. They seem to be wanting this at the moment. I'm using gangs because if I use the single hook, it's not quite hooking up properly at the moment. And with the gangs, I'm getting a better hookup rate. Yes. Oh yeah, that feels like a trout. Come on. Yes. Ah, that's what we want. I've been working hard for that fish for the last hour and a half. The cold trout on the ganged pilchard on the bottom, and that's the result. Another beautiful trout.
There's nothing like finishing on a high, so I decided to pull the pin after this victory.
Well, that pretty much wraps up my session out here at 1770. So day 3, that wind's starting to pick up now. There's a big southerly change coming, so I want to get out of here before it hits hard. So a bit of a frustrating day. Still got a few good fish in the tub, and so it's been an interesting last 3 days. A lot of experimenting, lots of different techniques. So we'll take it on board, and next time we come here, hopefully, you know, have an even better session. All right, it's time to hit the road.
Plenty of highs, plenty of lows, wins and losses. That's how best I can describe my first solo fishing adventure in 1770. On my way home, I'm already thinking about the next time I come here and what fishing awaits me.